Hello, welcome all in this video. So we are going to discuss about the morphology of prawn or external characteristics of the prawn. So this is a prawn having elongated body, spindle shaped and bilaterally symmetrical body. Prawn having elongated, spindle shaped and bilaterally symmetrical organism which is about 25 to 40 centimeter in length. So this organism, body of these organisms is covered by 19 segment and having the jointed appendages. Body having jointed appendages and having 19 segments. Body is divisible into two parts, cephalothorax, which is the anterior part, and abdomen, which is the posterior part. So the body is divisible into two parts, that is anterior part, that is called as cephalothorax, and the second part, that is the posterior part, which is called as the abdomen. Body is divisible into two parts, anterior part, which is called as cephalothorax region, and posterior part is called as abdomen region. So this cephalothorax region comprises 13 segments. Out of 19 segments, cephalothorax having there is having 13 segments in the cephalothorax region. This cephalothorax region is made by two parts, that is a combination of two parts, head and head and thorax region. Head region and thorax region combinedly called as cephalothorax region. So the cephalothorax region, out of that, head region comprises 5 segments and thorax region having 8 segments, totally having 13 segments in the cephalothorax region. Abdomen part is a posterior part and this is a jointed part having 6 movable segments. There is having 6 movable segments and a terminal plate which is called as telson or tail plate. That is 6 segments and also having a terminal plate that is called as terminal conical piece that is called as tail plate or telson. These are the parts of the abdominal region of the prawn. Then these two plates, that is body is covered by number of plates and that plates are called as sclerids. Sclerids or plates is the exoskeleton part of the body of the prawn. The body of the prawn is enveloped by the exoskeleton, and this exoskeleton is a hard protective shell like structure and made by many plates. That plates are called as sclerids, and two adjacent sclerids are connected by a particular region or particular membrane that is called as arthroidal membrane. Two adjacent regions that is covered or connected with the help of the arthroidal membrane. Two adjacent membranes are two adjacent sclerids. Two adjacent sclerids or two adjacent plates are articulated by a particular part that is called as arthroidal membrane. Arthroidal membrane connects two adjacent plates. Then when we consider that is exoskeleton having again divided into cephalothoracic sclerids and abdominal sclerids. So the cephalothoracic sclerids means the sclerids which covers the cephalothorax region, and the abdominal sclerids means the abdominal plates which covers the abdominal part of the body. So cephalothorax sclerids, in the cephalothorax sclerid there is having a large plate. That plate is called as dorsal plate, which this dorsal plate continuous to the rostrum. The large plate of the cephalothorax sclerids is called as dorsal plate, and this dorsal plate is continuous to the rostrum. At the base of the rostrum there is having a notch, and from that notch a stalk is arises, and the stalk that stalk there is having a particular structure, and that structure is called as compound eye. So the stalked compound eye emerges from the ventral side, from the notch or ventral side of this rostrum. Again, they are having some outgrowth, spine-like outgrowth. They are having two spine-like outgrowth. Anterior outgrowth that is called as antennal spines. This is antennal spine, and posterior there is having another spineless structure that is called as hepatic spine. So antennal spine, hepatic spine, these are the outgrowths which arises on the on the dorsal plate of the cephalothoracic skeletons. And the posterior part of this dorsal plate is called as carapace. Posterior part of this dorsal plate, larger plate of the cephalothoracic skeletons, that is called as carapace. And the adjustment or this particular jointing area, that is called as the arthrodial membrane. With the help of this connected arthrodial membrane, adjacent skeletons are connected with each other. Then about the abdominal skeletons, these abdominal skeletons are the plates which covers the abdominal part of the body of the prawn. Abdominal skeletons, these are separate skeletons, separate plates. These 1, 2, 3 like this. They are separate plate, ring-like plates, and again they articulate with the arthrodial membranes. But beside that, they are having some joints. That joints are called as hinge joints. This is a hinge joints which can adjust the adjacent abdominal segments are articulated by these hinge joints, and these hinge joints are peg and socket like arrangement. These hinge joints are peg and socket like arrangement which can connect the two adjacent abdominal segments or abdominal skeletons. Again, they are having some structures like compound eye, antenna, antennules, some ciliate legs, some non-ciliate legs. Again, having some appendages like pleopods, then uropods, like that. They are having tails, and these are some adjacent appendages are also found in this particular prawn. Again, some brief introduction about the structure or morphology of this prawn, shape and size. This organism elongated, spindle shaped, bilateral symmetrical, and about 25 to 40 centimeter in length. When we consider color, coloration is young, translucent white in color, adult pale blue or greenish with brown orange red patches. Preserved specimens is deep orange red in color. Body is divisible in two parts, cephalothorax, abdomen. Cephalothorax having 19 segments with jointed appendages. Out of that 19 segments, cephalothorax consists of 13 segments. Body is having 19 segments. Out of that, cephalothorax comprises 13 segments. Cephalothorax is the anterior part, large part, and unjointed part made by two segments, head and thorax, combined called as cephalothorax. That head comprises 5 segments, thorax comprises 8 segments, totally becomes 13 segments. Abdomen consists 6 segments, and the 6 movable segments, and with a conical tail plate or telson. Abdominal segments are dorsally rounded. Abdominal segments are dorsally rounded, laterally compressed, and bent under cephalothorax. So this organism looks like comma shaped because these abdominal segments are bent, due to which the organisms looks like comma shaped. When we consider external apertures, they are having mouth. Mouth is present at the anterior end. This is slit like opening. Anus, which is found ventrally at the base of telson. There is an aperture that is called as anus. Renal apertures on the inner surface of coxa, that is the base of the antennae. There is having renal aperture. Female genital aperture on the inner surface of coxa of third pair of walking legs, and male genital aperture is found on the inner surface of the coxa of the fifth pair of walking legs. So the female is found at the base of third pair of walking legs, and male genital aperture at the base of the fifth pair of walking legs. The body is covered by hard protective shell that is called an exoskeleton, and the exoskeleton made by the plates that is called as skeletons. Two adjacent skeletons are connected by a particular membrane that is called as arthrodial membrane. Then the skeletons which cover the cephalothorax region, that is called as cephalothoracic skeletons, and the skeletons which covers the abdominal part, that is called as abdominal skeletons. These cephalothoracic skeletons having anteriormost plate that is called as dorsal plate, and this dorsal plate is continuous to the rostrum, and towards the ventral side there is having a notch. That notch is called as orbital notch. At the base of rostrum there is having a notch, orbital notch, and from that orbital notch a stalked movable compound eyes arises. Then having antenna spines and hepatic spines on the dorsal plate. Then carapace is the posterior region of this dorsal plate. When we think about the abdominal skelets, these abdominal skelets are separate, ring-like, and articulate with the arthrodal membrane. Two adjacent skelets are then articulated with the arthrodal membrane. This abdominal skelets, the dorsal plate of abdominal skeleton, like that. This dorsal plate of abdominal skeleton is called as tergum. Ventral plate of abdominal segment, abdominal skeletons, is called as sternum. And to that dorsal and ventral plate, some two connected plates towards the lateral side, that is called as pleura. So the dorsal plate of the abdominal skeleton is called as tergum. Ventral plate of the abdominal skeleton is called as sternum, and lateral plate, two lateral plate are called as pleura, which connects the dorsal plate to the ventral plate. Then again there is having a particular type of joint. That joint is called as hinge joint. This hinge joints is adjacent abdominal segments are articulated by peg and socket like hinge joints. This is all about the external structure, external feature, or the morphology of the prawn.